Yo, Bronx nigga, I ain't got the floss nigga. Regular as fuck, still I get the baddest bros nigga. Check my resume, all wins, no loss.
Let's go! We are here, and you guys have officially entered the ozone. It's your boy Omar here with my co-host, super producer Dave. Brother, this is the whole new ozone episode of 2025. Brother, how are we feeling this new year?
We're feeling good. We're feeling good. The year's off to a good start. Good news has been coming my way. I don't know about you. And then Bad Bunny drops his album today, so something to listen to
So I
later.
heard, I've heard, but you did say that, this is the new year, and with New Year's comes resolutions, as we touched on in the last episode. But what we should remain is every year, no matter what year, is holding yourself accountable. And here at the Ozone, we hold ourselves accountable. And I got to hold myself accountable this new year, Dave, because I want to go off the script to start off 2025. And
The
I'm
floor is
going off the
yours.
script. I'm going off the script on myself because I got to hold myself accountable. A few weeks ago, on the Ozone, we had an off the script segment where I ripped Shams Charania from ESPN about I felt his premature posting about Jimmy Butler wanting out of Miami and wanting to go to the Phoenix Suns. Now I sided with Jimmy Butler's agent because his agent came out the following day basically saying that Shams was lying. It seems like Shams was correct the whole time, as this past week the Miami Heat played the Indiana Pacers, and Jimmy Butler voiced his frustrations and his lack of joy when playing with the Miami Heat. It's a cluster. Now the Miami Heat has currently suspended Jimmy Butler for 7 games in a row. Now he wants out. It seems like Shams had it correct this whole time, and the Jimmy Butler agent thing was just more of a way to kind of no, that's a lie, but now we know that's the truth. Shams from the Ozone, your boy O apologizes. I take accountability. You were right, and your boy was wrong.
Jimmy Butler has lost his smile. That's what I get from that. And to quote the great HBK, to lose your smile with the team that you've been on, your favorite. Um, it's funny, it's agent fluff talk. At this point, we know what agents are all about, and it's just as much as a lawyer. They're going to defend their client as much as they can, and we understand that he's unhappy. The thing that here's the how do I say this correctly? The problem with the Heat right now is that you have a contract for Jimmy Butler that makes it seem like impossible to move him. The only team that really seems interested in getting him and they're trying to find a way to get him are the Phoenix Suns. But guess what? The Phoenix Suns are in the second apron. So they can't move Beal without including another team. And not many teams want to get involved if they're not the ones getting Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about this, and being in Miami, a lot of Heat fans don't want Bradley Beal anyway. I think if you traded Jimmy Butler, I think you're kind of waving that flag of we want somebody that we can build around. So I know some people have sided with Jimmy Butler on this topic. However, surprisingly enough, I'm siding with Miami Heat and Pat Riley. Pat Riley voiced his frustrations last offseason about Jimmy Butler's lack of motivation during the regular season and kind of wants to kick it in the playoffs. And Jimmy Butler wants to get paid. Pat Riley's not willing to pay him. It is what it is. I was wrong about the whole report and Shams. I apologize. We're not talking about the Heat any longer on this damn show because God knows I can't stand the Miami Heat anyway. I am getting some joy out of this, but I just wanted to take accountability, bro.
Yeah, and another point that regarding the Heat and getting this trade done, they had the opportunity to get Bradley Beal 2 years ago, and guess what? They rejected that. So
Good point.
where does that put everything?
Good point. They have a problem that they got to take care of. And I don't want to talk about their problems because I have a big problem that I'm dealing with. A huge problem. Some people would say it's a giant problem. The New York Giants last week, as you did really well, brother, on your breaking of the news that in the middle of the show, because when we recorded the show, I had a resolution for the Giants. It was simple. Lose your last 2 games. You've been doing a great job of that. You 10 in a row. What are you going to do? You going to look like the Kansas City Chiefs against the Colts. And you ruin your chances. Your chances are done. I'm sorry, it is done. We went from first, we went to above 60% chance in getting the #1 overall pick. Now we're at 4, I believe, at this present moment. Now it's under 10, the percentage of us getting #1 pick. Cleveland just lost yesterday uh, to the Baltimore Ravens. So they're done. We can't finish above Cleveland even with a loss. What are we doing? The Giants are so stupid. As I touched on our videos on TikTok and IG, which follow us, guys. Like, subscribe, share, do everything. The Giants suck at sucking. We can't even get that right. We can't get the winning down. But you know what? As Giant fans, we kind of understood it already. Okay, we can't win, we suck, but let's aim for a pick. But no, we can't even do that well. This team has, oh man, I don't. Can we say pissed off? Is that like, I don't want to curse. We don't curse on the show, but they pissed me off. Like it is beyond that. Whatever level is above pissed off, Dave. That's where I'm at with the Giants.
And you don't understand why was it that they won. Like I don't know if it's Dable trying to save his job. I don't know if it's the players trying to show up for Dable. I don't know what was the point of winning this game, because if you are a player on this team, you have to understand that this season is just a wash, and you want to look forward to the next season. At this point, there's nothing to really play for unless you got something on the line, like let's say a bonus that if you hit this mark, you get that. I don't think that applied to anybody last week, but there was no reason to win this game. So now, as of now, you guys are the 4th pick in the draft. Right now, how each team can get the first pick, as provided by Field Yates this morning, the Patriots lose, they get the #1 pick. Titans lose and the Patriots win, they get the #1 pick. And if the Browns win and the Patriots win and the Titans win, they get the #1 pick. But the Browns already have secured a top 3 pick. Don't know why the Giants decided to win that game. It was really pointless. And if anything, this kind of puts Dable even in the hotter seat, because now you set up next season to be a little bit harder to get whatever it is that you want to do. Do you have to trade up now and get that guy? Because you don't know what Cleveland's going to do. Cleveland has a quarterback that they want to get rid of. It's just they can't because of the money. The Titans have to rebuild again, and Will Levis is not that guy. The Patriots, once again, like I brought up last week, have the guy who they can hostage you. Like whoever wants to pay the highest ransom can get this pick. So I don't understand the point of the Giants winning last week. And
It's a head
I'm sorry,
scratcher.
brother.
It's a head scratcher, bro. As you touched on brilliantly well on your scenarios, Giant fans, did you notice that the Giants aren't part of those scenarios? It's ridiculous. I get, I get when you're tanking, it's definitely more fans and management, that kind of want it. The management will never admit it, but they want it. Now the players and the coaches, they're playing for their jobs. I don't think I can ever get on the players for playing hard. But coaching has a little bit to do with it in positioning. Hey, neighbors, you've been dealing with a bum knee. You've actually missed games where we should have still been winning. Why the heck are you playing them now? It's little things like that where you have an excuse, you have a get out of jail card to use. Hey, little Nick, we're not playing you. We don't want to play you. But you know what? I also blame the stupid coach. If there are any Colts fans watching, you were playing for a playoff position. You let the Giants look like the Kansas City Chiefs. And not this year, Kansas City Chiefs. You made them look like Kansas City Chiefs with Tyreek Hill and all them boys. Wandell Robinson got me more than 15 fantasy points. Thanks, Wandell. It only took you 10 weeks. Could have used that in the playoffs. This team got me so frustrated And now you're hearing some reports, bro, that Joe Shea may remain and now Dable may be out. And as we touched on our New Year's resolution for the Giants last week, make the decision now. I want the decision made, bro, right after this game in Philadelphia. That's it. Announce it. We're keeping Shane, we're keeping Dable, or we're firing both. Um, I don't want one without the other. I'm gonna be honest, I really don't. Um, so either you're gonna keep them. I preferenced this before, and I'm going to say it again. I don't think Dable's the problem. I do think if you give Dable a skilled quarterback, which we were in position of trusting, he can do wonders. He can do things with him. He can do things with playmakers. Now, you kind of have to think about the pivot plan. And now it's, do you give Sam Darnold that kind of money? Not comfortable doing that, brother. I'm not comfortable giving Sam Darnold any kind of bread. I don't think he's going to come for a 1 year deal, nor should he. Like you've earned it. You played well this year. Get your money. Get whatever bag. This is probably going to be the only situation scenario where you could. I am open now. Hearing this, okay, you could possibly trade up, but as you touched on, it's going to be a king's ransom if you're trying to trade up. I am open to a stopgap quarterback though, which is bringing in maybe a potential Russell Wilson, bringing in a Matthew Stafford, if available, a Justin Fields. Those guys where you go, okay, let's draft a position of need. So if a great offensive lineman is out there, maybe, hey, maybe the two teams, maybe a Travis Hunter. I know you touched on wanting him. Uh, let's a player like that, and let's get the stopgap quarterback. Let's see what we can do. If we suck, then what's projected. The next year's draft is projected to have a little bit more than two quarterbacks that should be NFL ready. Even though that's not a bad pivot plan, because even if the Giants had the number 1 or 2 pick, no one's no one's. I don't think no one would project them to have the Commanders' success where all of a sudden they instantly become this playoff team. But it's very frustrating that we've had it in our hands and to no one else is doing but ours, we let that slip away. And it seems like every New York team, when they're in a position of tanking and things look great and we're gonna get that number 1 pick, reality hits us and we never get it.
Yeah, and I can't recall a scenario where you let go of one person and the other one succeeds right after. So let's say like, you keep the GM, but you fire your coach and then the next coach comes in and it's great. I can't really recall too many situations when that happens. Um, but you would want a fresh start. And I think that the right move would be to get rid of your GM and coach. I don't think you go and try to replace the coach because I honestly I think Dable's out. I don't think you just replace the coach, and we'll see where they go from here. But I don't know where they're going.
Yeah, I think and that's where if they keep Shane, fire Dable, I'll have that question. Then what's the plan? What are we doing? Um, Are we going to try to lure in a Mike Vrabel? I know Mike Vrabel had an interview with the Jets that apparently went well. So the Jets are in pursuit of a head coach as well. What are we doing? Do we try to get a young coordinator? I can't think of the top of my head of what coordinator would be in position to you know getting a head coaching job. I don't
The
know.
Vikings,
The
the
Vikings
Vikings
defensive
defensive court,
coordinator, right?
yeah, the ex Miami one. He was a Patriot too.
Oh, Flores.
There we go, Brian
Oh, and you know
Flores.
what? But you know what the thing about Flores is, and just because we're on topic of coaches and the Giants, I think Flores is much of an upgrade from Dable. I don't. I believe in Dable, bro. I know you think that they should both be gone. But I believe in Dable. I think when you give Dable skilled guys, he can do well. I think when you had a healthy Saquon, a healthy Daniel Jones, we were able to do things. We made the playoffs. Daniel Jones got hurt the follow last year. That kind of limited us. And then obviously not having Saquon then limited us where we put all our eggs in the Daniel Jones basket. I think Dable, if you give him skilled players, and unfortunately with the win, if there's any silver lining in that win against the Colts, you kind of saw it. When Dable's in his bag, he's able to come up with schemes, but he needs the playmakers to do so. And that's where that win is frustrating because I feel Shador Sanders or Cam Ward would work very well under Dable. Um, so I want Dable to stay. But if you do a stopgap quarterback, then maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know, man. The Giants are a mess right now. The Giants self-inflicting issues right now has that's what they have, and it's upsetting. It's very upsetting because at least the silver lining of the season was that we were going to get the number one pick, and not only are we not getting the number one pick, brother, there's teams in front of us that need the same position of need. That's the more frustrating part. So,
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you some breaking news.
All right, y'all. So it's official. The New York Giants, with their loss today to the Philadelphia Eagles, have officially got the third overall pick. Now, that's not great news, but it is some good news as the New England Patriots lost. Now, the Giants are third with the Tennessee Titans having the number one overall pick and the Cleveland Browns drafting two. Now, the question is Shador Sanders, is Cam Ward going to be available at the third spot for the New York Giants? Will those two teams draft a quarterback? Will those quarterbacks elect not to play for the Cleveland Browns and Tennessee Titans? Or does the Titans and the Browns trade down? All things are possible, but at least we have some good news in New York. Not great news, but good news. The Giants has officially finished with the third overall pick in the NFL draft.
the Giants are in a mess right now. But what team is not in a mess? We got a new segment for the new year, brother, and you know, the NBA season is starting to roll in. The NBA season is starting to roll in. Now we are more than a quarter away. We're getting to almost to the halfway point of the NBA season. The Knicks have played right now to the day of this recording 36 games. So we're about what 5 games? Yeah, five. Yeah, we're about 5 games away from the halfway point. So we got a segment, guys, and this segment is called "This Week in Knicks." Guys, the Knicks have been rolling. This past week they had a good week. Didn't end well. Did not end well. Losing two in a row. Tough game on Friday to the Oklahoma City Thunder, followed by a tough game yesterday, and I just knew it. The minute I saw the schedule, I did not like this back to back. I have a thing where teams, when you play a good team on the first day of a back to back and you got a bad team right after, that second game is a trap game because you put so much energy into that first game because you're playing a title contender, you're playing a legit contender that, you're so exhausted the next day and you're playing a rested team no matter their record. That's a trap game, man. That's a game where if the Knicks had a day off, they smoke Chicago, but they didn't. But the Knicks did finish off this week 2-2. So they have 4 games this past week. What did you think of the Knicks, brother? Their performance just for the week overall.
For the week, I mean, like we mentioned this on the last episode, the Knicks have been on a tear, and I love how this team is gelling. There are some things, and we've seen in these last two games, there are kinks to work out still. McBride, I think, being out on Friday was a big point because, you listen to a lot of fans, and they're saying that we need that plug-in guy. They need that Pritchard or someone like that who can fill in that role when, Brunson and Towns just need to sit down on the bench or just not be the guy at that moment. And McBride affects you when he's not in. But I don't think we need to go and trade for somebody. I think that guy is, to me, McBride. But as far as the team, I think that we're in a good position. It sucks to lose two in a row, especially like coming off that hot tear. We got Orlando, so maybe we can get back. They just lost Jalen Suggs. Hopefully you get better soon, Jalen. But I think that things turn around again starting Monday.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I think as Knicks fans, we tend to overreact. When we're winning, we're on a hot tear. No one can beat us. And the minute we lose, yeah, well, you see, this is what we're missing. This Tibbs is playing too many guys minutes and blah, blah, blah. We got to trade. We need bench depth. I agree with you 100% about the Deuce McBride thing. Because Deuce is that bucket getter to give Brunson and those guys minutes. The guys give them guys a break. And you have campaign. We just got Andrew Shamet back. Princess Achua, he missed what 10, 12 games of the year. You got to give these guys time to, gel together, work together. Uh, so I'm not worried at the one bit. I know that the Knicks starters have logged the most minutes in the league. Um, but I'm not worried about that. You know, Isaiah Hartenstein, former Knick, now Oklahoma City Thunder, was asked that question after the Knicks Thunder game about the minutes and playing under Tom Thibodeau. And Hartenstein, I think, said it well that maybe if you're not tapped into basketball like that, you wouldn't know. But he touched on it. He said, hey, listen, you guys are looking at the minutes, but we don't even practice as much as far as the physicality that it takes in those practices. We're not doing that every day. So they are getting the ample time to rest on off days. Um, I just think that the Knicks had a good week, a good start of the week. Obviously, they did play Utah, they played Washington. So obviously you had a little you had bum teams, but hey, you gotta get fat on when you can get fat. The Oklahoma City game was a tough one because the Knicks showed for 3 quarters how dominant they can be, and I thought that they performed above expectations in that game. And I think the fourth quarter just, things happen. Officiating seemed a little off to me, but I won't blame the refs on that. And then the Chicago game was just a casualty of the schedule. Back to back, you're traveling. I don't care if you're traveling first class, whatever. The fact that you finish a game at 11 o'clock at night, you're traveling right after, you're getting to the next city very late in the morning, then to whatever rest and whatever run through you got to go through during the day. I believe that yesterday's game with Chicago was a celebration of Derrick Rose. The crowd was coming in pumped. So, like you said, brother, I'm not making a big deal of these last two losses. I do think that the Knicks can do better this week, and we're going to discuss that as this week. The Knicks have 3 games, as you touched on, brother. Tomorrow on Monday tonight, the Knicks play the Orlando Magic, followed by the Toronto Raptors Wednesday, and a rematch with the Oklahoma City Thunder Friday. The great thing about that, brother, is that the Knicks' next 3 games are at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks have a lot of games at the Garden uh this month. I believe only 2 games on the road the rest of the month, and really one because the 2 road games are Philadelphia and Brooklyn. We all know we run the Barclays Center. So I think although the schedule is supposed to get tough, you know what, brother? I want to talk about this, and I'm sorry I didn't mention this in the pre-show meetings. This whole conversation of, oh, the Knicks play bad teams, or while the schedule gets tough. When does it get to the point, brother, that we change our psyche as Knicks fans? We are an elite team. I no longer look at the schedule, brother, like, man, we got to play the Bucks. Man, we got to play the Sixers. Yeah, did I used to think like that pretty much all the time before this season? Yes. But we are an elite team. It gets to the point where those teams are looking at us and going, damn, we got the Knicks tonight. We have the fourth best record in the NBA. Scared of no team. Yeah, so I don't believe in this. Oh, the schedule gets tough. Okay, we got Milwaukee this month. We got Minnesota this month. We have, the Kings and the Grizzlies. But they got come to the Garden. You know what I'm saying? And if we got our team, obviously barring any injuries, we have to smoke with all of them. You got to come to our house. You looking at your schedule going, I got the Knicks. I'm tired of that, man. And that's just been a conversation throughout this winning streak, brother, about that and about, now about, the schedule gets tougher, man. I'm not trying to hear that junk, man. The Knicks, I'm going the Knicks a perfect 3-0 week, brother. Getting the win over Orlando, getting the win over Toronto, and getting our payback, getting our get back against the Thunder. What's your prediction for the week, brother?
I think we go 3-0 as well. But I do think Oklahoma's going to be another tough one. I think that's going to be a game that goes down to the wire, and I can see it within 5 points.
No question. When I'm making that point, I'm not saying we're gonna smoke these teams by 25, 30. Like, is it possible we can? 100%. Anything can happen in the game of basketball. However, I'm just like, you know what, man? I'm tired of having this scared puppy dog talk. We a big dog in the league. We want to act like big dogs. Let's be big dogs. You know what I'm saying? Bring all the smoke. I was pumped for that game on Friday against Oklahoma City. The Knicks handled theirs. The Knicks actually should have won that game, but it is what it is. Guys, role players for the Thunder went on hot streaks because they were home. Everybody knows this that watches any kind of sports. The role players play better at home. It's just simple as that. Role players play better at home. You got to come to our turf now. I think things will be different. I do think it's going to be a close game, as you touched on, brother. But I got us winning. Um,
I
but
mean,
yeah,
another point about that is just like it's the Knicks, right? So you don't talk about trash teams like this. Like if a trash team loses, they're a trash team. They lost. But when you're that team that everybody wants to beat, when you've shown that you are the team to beat, people want to make fun of you when you do fail. When you've seen it across everything. So let's stop this thing where people just seem like, oh, it's regular old Knicks. No, no, it's not regular old Knicks. We've gone past that the last 2 years. This is not the same Knicks team that we've been used to. At least I've been, as long as I've been a fan, because I didn't grow up watching basketball, but as long as I've known watching the Knicks, we've been the laughing stock. This is not that same team anymore. So, of course, when we lose 2 games in a row, people are gonna find something to pick at. It's because we're New York.
yeah. And the Knicks is clicks. The Knicks for clicks, as they say. Knicks is clickbait. And as you touched on, you can't. We're no longer LOL Knicks. We're no longer the laughing stock of the league. Now, if anything, we're becoming the modeled franchise of the league on how to build and how to maneuver with salaries and things like that. So, right, the minute a little speed bump hits, they want to run with it as like everything is going downhill. But speaking of downhill, we touched on the games this week. That the Knicks have with 3 games being scheduled this week. However, if you are a member or if you are a subscriber to Optimum Television, you cannot watch the Knicks. For those that may not know, in the New York market, if you have the cable service of Optimum, better known as Altice or anything, I think they have like Optimum.TV, Optimum Altice. They have officially dropped the MSG. This is the official message from the MSG Network, and I quote, as a last-ditch effort to save their struggling business at the expense of subscribers, Altice is trying to charge their customers more and give them less. They just raised their prices nearly 50% for current Optimum subscribers and 70% for new Optimum subscribers after the expiration of a promotional offer. For the package that had included MSG networks and cut access to the Knicks, Rangers, Islanders, Devils, and more on the MSG network. We've offered Altice a number of fair and reasonable proposals that call for Altice to pay us less than last year. Altice rejected all of them, including our offer to keep MSD on air while we continue to try to reach a deal. We remain ready to negotiate in good faith. Now, there's a little irony to all this, brother, because Jim Dolan, who is the owner of the New York Knicks, his father, who passed away, rest in peace, um, was the founder of HBO and Cablevision. So Cablevision eventually became Optimum Altice. So James Dolan, the current Nick owner, no longer owns Optimum Altice. And I think a lot of people were confused. They go, wait a minute, you're negotiating with yourself. But obviously he sold it. But this is a huge hit for Optimum subscribers, as I believe the first game that they missed was January 1st. So if you have an Optimum subscription, you cannot access the Knicks. You have no access to the Knicks, Rangers, all the hockey teams basically in New York since January 1st. And I'm gonna be honest, brother, this doesn't look like it's gonna get resolved any sooner.
No, and it's pretty ugly. The fact is that it's becoming a problem where so many different ways to access the stuff is not available to everyone. And what I mean is there's so many streaming services these days. There's so many ways that you can find this stuff, but if I want to pay for cable, if you're still this person to this day who's paying for cable, the fact that you can't watch your team in your home state, that's and you telling me I have to subscribe to something else to get access to that? What is the point of all this? When do the prices just cap? Because they don't. They surge every year. Every year you get a notification that hey, this service has just increased their prices. So it's if I was a person who lived in New York still, I would be frustrated with this whole situation.
No, 100%. And the problem is these cable networks, cable networks. Like not well, no, the cable network would be MSG, but these cable providers, they get so greedy. For experience. Look, my mom is the biggest Knicks fan I know. We made the switch. We switched. We literally left Optimum and jumped to Verizon. Now, for those that have Optimum and can't watch the Knicks, there are other ways to watch the Knicks. You can watch the Knicks through the Gotham app, which has the MSG and yes. Now, Gotham app was free with your subscription through Optimum. If you had MSG, that's no longer the case. But if you have another cable subscription, you can access Gotham. Um, and you can also watch MSD on Dave. Hit it. Fubi?
Fubo,
Fubo. Yeah, you
Fubo.
can hit it on Fubo. God, so there are ways to watch the Knicks on MSG. But it's just a greed thing. From personal experience, Altice and Optimum, they ain't paying us, so I could crap on them. They continue to raise their prices. Their service is not that great. So I fully back MSG on this one because from the statement that I read, I've personally experienced that with the raising of their prices. With once your promotion is done, they're billing you arm and a leg for their services, and it's not that great. I just feel bad for those that have Optimum that are missing the Knicks, especially in a season like this where the Knicks are, a championship contending team and, they're really entertaining to watch. So for those that are, right now trying to find ways to watch the Knicks, I hope this is helpful. And I hope this does get resolved. You know what I mean? Optimum are in a lot of homes in New York. And so I hope it gets resolved. But the way Altice and Optimum are talking, it doesn't seem like it will. But as you touched on, brother, everything becoming digital is the new wave. And we want to talk, and I mentioned it on the pilot. We might be covering a little bit of wrestling.
Give me a hell yeah!
And this coming week, tonight, Monday Night Raw will be debuting on Netflix. No longer on cable, as you touched on. It will no longer be available on cable. If you want to watch Monday Night Raw tonight, 8 p.m., you have to watch it on Netflix. This past week, AEW, All Elite Wrestling, which is the competitor of the WWE, are now simulcasting their show on HBO Max, better known as Max. So, as you touched on, bro, everything is so digital. We've already discussed before about the NFL becoming digital once a week on Thursdays. We talked about the Christmas situation with them being on Netflix. I do believe that the NFL one playoff game or maybe two will be a Peacock exclusive, so another digital platform. This is just the way of life, brother. I think I think this also roots why MSG and Optimum are beefing. MSG knows at the end of the day, digital digital's gonna run everything. Cable's just gonna be extinct. Um, because you see these new TV deals and all these companies are just positioning themselves to be streamed on digital platforms.
Yeah. The difficult thing is that wrestling, let's go back to the wrestling real quick. Wrestling has always been something that you got with your cable subscription. Sometimes you were lucky when SmackDown was on Channel 9 for us in New York, but
Right.
UPN,
UPN.
where people or CW, wherever the network was, you could watch wrestling on regular TV. But if you had cable, you can access and see Raw back in the day, WCW, and now AEW was provided on TBS and TNT. Um, what was Raw on USA?
Yeah.
There
USA.
we go. So there we go. So the fact is that it's becoming harder, and the big thing with wrestling is us, the older generation, like that grew up on this stuff. We will find our ways to get this stuff, but I find it hard for the parents and the kids who, all right, my kid loves watching wrestling. I like to let them watch wrestling with me. Oh, I need to subscribe to Netflix now. Oh, how much is Netflix? Oh, I have to pay for the ad version. It just becomes complicated. And then you have Max. And it's like, if you don't subscribe to that, and my kid likes AEW, well, now I have to find another way to watch so they can watch both of them. It's it's becoming too much. And the point to streaming was to cut your cable, cut the cost. And now it's becoming, well, you need this one, and this one
Yeah,
to
and it
watch
all adds
everything.
up.
If you
Yeah,
want to
it
watch all
adds
the
up.
football games, you need at least four different subscriptions. If you want to watch because you need ESPN, you need Peacock, you need Prime, and then you may need some service to watch the other games on Sunday, which is maybe the NFL network or something. It's becoming too much. NBA is heading down the same route, and that's why we know that the show's not coming back with Shaq and the crew. Um it's a lot, and I feel bad for all of us because at the end of the day, we're the ones losing. We're the ones who have to pay up and see this. Subscription sharing is now becoming obsolete as well, which is something that also hurts us as well. So it's a tough position to put us all in.
Yeah, I think you said it right. Like streaming was supposed to be the alternative, the cheaper alternative. But if you think about it, you're carrying Prime, you're carrying Max, you're carrying Netflix, you're carrying all the major streaming services, and then you include your Wi-Fi, plan. Next thing you know it, you're basically paying a cable bill. Um, you touched on it. I think, and what made cable, and that's the cons. You know what I mean, of everything becoming digital and cable. What was cool about cable is you was able to channel surf. Okay, so Raw's on a commercial break. You could go and switch over to whatever you were watching after that, and you could do that. With the apps basically just keep you there. Then you have to shut off the app, go to the next app, let that load, and then it's more difficult. It becomes very confusing because then now you have, wait a minute, is Monday Night Raw okay on Netflix, but is SmackDown on Netflix? Or is SmackDown on this? Where's this show? Where's this show? And this is how you can lose viewers when you don't have one domain for everything. Like us, like the ozone, guys, where you can tap in with us every Monday, 12 noon for a brand new episode here on YouTube. We ain't going to Peacock. We ain't going to Prime. We on YouTube every Monday at 12 noon. Guys, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to us, guys. Follow us on our social media platforms, on Instagram, on our TikTok. Dave's gonna put it on the screen. There's no excuses, guys. This is where we post daily content. I would say every day we post on our social media platforms. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. You'll get impromptu Vega rants. You'll get impromptu off the script from us at times on our Twitter account. But guys, we just love that you guys are continuing to support us. Go ahead, brother.
And guys, you know what? comment below. Please let us know. What do you think of all these streaming services? Let us know what are your thoughts because it's getting, I know I'm frustrated. You know, back in the day, and I don't care if it comes out, back in the day, me and Omar used to share our services. You have this, I have this. But guess what? Now it's become complicated. I live further from Omar, so they're going to ask where to, are you sure that you are here and are you traveling? And it's really complicated these days. So, guys, if you can, comment below. Let us know. What do you think? All
Yeah.
this is this getting to you, or what are you doing, and what is your alternative?
Right, and also on everything that we talked on in this episode, what's your thoughts on the Giants? Comment your frustration. Do you agree with us? Do you agree with our take on the New York Knicks? Be sure to do that. You know what I mean, and we'll respond back. We'll respond back as we do on all our other social media platforms, guys. So thank you guys for another great week, another episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As I touched on. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends. I know I've been hearing, brother. Oh man, I don't know sports like that. Well, you know what? If you don't know sports, you know somebody that does. All right, and be sure to share our stuff, guys. It'll come a long way. So, guys, thank you. Stay tuned next Monday, 12 noon, for another brand new episode of the Ozone. And therefore, have a good week, y'all. Hey.
Bronx nigga, I ain't got the floss nigga. Regular as fuck, still I get the baddest bros nigga. Check my resume, all wins, no loss.